Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews as Dave's background is being torn by the dogs. Love it. Welcome, everybody. Today we jump back into the musical genre, not musical, but music genre of films. I guess it's not really, it's the
it's music. They're a band.
It's music. They're a real band. We decided to take a look at Rob Reiner's 1984. This is Spinal Tap. Wow. I have seen this movie so much. I'm watching it and I'm quoting it before it comes out. And it's like, oh my God, I have really seen this many times. I knew everything was coming.
I forgot.
I forgot who all was in it, though.
I always picture this movie as taking place or being done in the late 70s or 80, 81, maybe 82. I didn't realize it was like 84, you said?
I think it's 84, yeah.
It's crazy. I always think it's a lot earlier in the 80s. Mm-hmm. This is funny. Before we get too much into it, folks, please, it helps our algorithm and find us easily findable. If you hit the like button, hit subscribe, go ahead and share, leave a comment.
Please.
Just let us know what you like or don't like about the podcast. We won't change anything, but we'd like to know.
Yeah. We'll take it under advisement.
Yeah, yes. In the receptacle. Boop. No, I'm kidding. But to start out with Spinal Tap, all these guys know how to play instruments. They can all sing pretty well. And it's just so damn funny that these guys are all comedians. They were all comedic actors at the time. But they wound up doing I think they wound up doing 3 albums. I know of at least 2, and I thought there was a third one floating around out there. And it's just so damn funny.
It is, and it's all right. For those of you who are not familiar with the movie, this is Spinal Tap. It is you are familiar with musical documentaries that chronicle the life and times of bands and their things, and go along with them. It's something I love to watch is musical documentaries. And this one, if you just walk in a room and it's playing, it's going to take you a while to realize you're not watching a real show. It is so well done. It hits the formulas perfect. It feels like a real documentary. And I think, to me, what makes this movie endearing and funny is they're so serious. It's not played for laughs. This is our life. It's all sincere. And you look at the cast, Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, and it goes on and on. I know, and I haven't looked, but I would imagine that there is a ton of this movie is completely improvisational.
It's got to be. I mean, they have as writers those 3.
Then yes, it is. More than likely.
It's like, what are you writing? It's Harry Shearer.
Yeah, Harry Shearer.
Guest, Michael McKean. And you sit there and you think, okay, how are you writing this? It's got to be just big, broad strokes.
Yeah, and they are so much their characters. It's wonderful. I mean, Michael McKean is David St. Hubbins, and I love the part about St. Hubbins. Yeah, there was a saint. He was the patron saint of comfortable footwear or sensible footwear or something like that.
Something like that.
So that, to me, that when I heard him say that, it's like, oh shit, he just improv that line right out of nowhere is what it felt like.
But I think all these guys are out of improv, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. Look at the stuff that Guest,
Chicago, most of them.
Yeah. Look at the stuff that Guest has gone on to do with his improv troupe and everything. So they're all that's the kind of movies.
I think it's Christopher Guest. Yeah. He was the last member of his family, male heir, and he is in the House, not House of Commons. What do they call it over in Britain?
I'm not sure, but
House of Commons is commoners with no royal blood. I can find out.
Well, it'll come to you.
It's not House of Commons. It's the other one in Britain. But he inherited the title. House of Lords. Thank you.
House of Lords. Okay.
It was in my ear. Somebody whispered in my ear. Um,
Thanks, Cap.
and actually, she's like 2 rooms away. She didn't do anything. She mentally gave it to me.
Hey, she's
Uh,
talented.
and I thought that was really cool to find that out now. Like he's an American. He had no idea that he was even related, I guess, to these people.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, you just inherited this." He's like, "What? What do you want me to you want me to get involved in your politics? What?" I mean, really? Then that's okay with everybody that I'm involved in this. No, you damn Yank. Really, it's not. I'm
Oh,
sure. I'm sure they're still getting grief. Imagine him walking in full Spinal Tap gear.
yeah.
Hope, real quick, I texted you watching this movie. It opens up pretty much with a small conversation with the band, and then they go into like a band party, like a opening album
Yeah.
party. And there is a list of people
Oh my
that I
God, the
sent to
actors they got
you.
together for
I
this.
just Where the hell is it? I know I was
Well,
dumbfounded.
while you're looking for that, it's Fran Drescher is
Yeah.
involved. You had sent me a text that Angelica Houston. I never did see her, but
Yeah.
wow.
Fran Drescher, that's the call out. But then you had Billy Crystal,
Mhm.
Bruno Kirby,
Yeah.
Ed Begley Jr., Patrick McNee. All of them were like in the
Dana
first 10
Carvey
minutes.
was one of the mimes.
I'm not sure if that's Dana Carvey or not. I gotta look.
It's on IMDb. It's Dana Carvey.
Oh, it is Dana Carvey. That was
Yes.
Dana Carvey.
Yes, it was
How
Dana
old was she,
Carvey.
like 15?
Don't know.
Oh, and Angelica Houston, I did not spot her. I knew she looked familiar. I did not spot her. Cat spotted her. Cat's like, "Is that Angelica Houston?" And that's when I pulled up the phone and looked, and was she in the movie? And she is the lady who has made the Stonehenge monument and handed it to him.
Oh
That's
my God, I
Angelica
never even
Houston.
noticed that.
I was like, holy Nikes, that's
Wow.
ridiculous. But this movie goes from ridiculous to
To
ridiculous
11, real
to
quick.
more ridiculous. Yeah, and then it turns it up to 11 on the ridiculousometer.
Yeah.
And every rock
Rockumentary?
rockumentary that I've watched since watching this is this movie. It
Mhm.
really is this movie. They are all very sincere about their stupidity.
That's why
of
it
them.
works.
That's why, yeah, exactly.
That's why it works. It's so serious.
I want to say it was Alice Cooper I'd seen in an interview when they were talking, and somehow this Spinal Tap came up. I think it was Alice Cooper, and he says everybody has had a "Hello Cleveland" moment backstage. Like you can't find you literally
Just keep
have to be
going.
walked. Yeah, he said you literally, if you don't get walked to the stage, you're going to be lost back there. You have no fucking clue where you're at. And then everybody's gone out on stage and said the wrong city at one point or another.
Oh yeah, it happens. My God, they're in a different city every night. How could they?
Yeah,
I just saw Duran Duran in New Orleans, and they're like, "Hey, Dallas" or whatever. I'm like, and then Nick Rhodes corrects Simon real quick, and I was like, "Oh," because they were in Dallas the night before or whatever. Yeah, so it's like, it happens.
I can't imagine that kind of life. I'm too old and boring for that. But for Fran Drescher, her opening up, she was, I think, with the record company, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And she was also part of their management group. Like she was
seemed like it. So
that was pretty
team.
funny. And she's the album cover. It's got too much sex on it for the.
They were not happy with the cover.
Yeah, they were unhappy with the cover. You can't have half naked women. It's not the 70s anymore. Like, what's wrong? What's wrong with that? She's wearing a glove or whatever.
Yeah, Smell the Glove was the name of the album. And it dealt with, I guess the cover had a woman in bondage on the front with somebody shoving a gloved hand in their face. It was offensive. But take a look at any album cover from that time and any album cover today.
It's like what we were talking about when they meet the other singer later on in the movie, just maybe 10 or 15 minutes later. It's supposed to be a few days later. And they're talking about his album cover. And they're like,
it's the same thing, but reversed.
Yeah, it's so much worse. There's like 4 naked women or half naked women on that. And, he's being like pummeled. And the guy gives him, what's the excuse the guy gives him that's okay?
It's okay because he's the victim.
Yeah. You can still have naked women on there as
So
long as you're the victim as a
so
man.
when you have that, this is why this movie works. Whether you agree with Rob Reiner's political leanings or not, he
Yeah.
can make a movie and make a message that doesn't hit you over the fucking head.
And make it
And
funny. He did make
yeah,
this.
he made it funny. And there's there's stuff like that. It's a smart
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
It does expect its audiences to pay attention. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's one of the things that have always caught me, and I believe it or not, as many times as I've seen this, and I still don't know if I'm seeing this right, is there's a scene where they're at a get together or something, and they've got like herpes or cold sores on their mouths.
Yeah. Yeah. There's at
Both
least
of
one
them,
guy that's got
Nigel and David, both have that. And that's the only time you see it. Now, throughout the years, I always thought it was chocolate on their face, but when I watched the otother night, it's like in super high definition, it's like that's a cold sore. Oh my god, that makes it even funnier. Because like, why they got chocolate on their face?
I've never seen this on the big screen, but could you imagine being at a theater with that? Like,
it's just like the giant sore. Yeah.
That's freaking hysterical.
Yeah, it is.
But
yeah.
Yeah, I can't even say that there's a message in this. I mean, other than
there really isn't. But I mean, but he did in the
what you think they are.
Yeah, but in the whole thing of flipping it, oh, it's okay if the man's the victim. That's it. But yeah,
that's all right if you're the victim.
Yeah.
Then you can have the half naked women on there. You have as many half naked women on there as you want, as long as you're the victim.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah. So yeah, it's.
But that's the logic, I guess.
This movie is a fun movie. If you've never seen it and you're a fan of rock documentaries, it's definitely worth a watch for sure. There's so much that goes on. What was I going to say? It's just everything it goes. Yeah, everything that goes wrong. Yeah, but the album cover, since the album cover was so offensive, they just made it straight black. And like Fran's response was, the Beatles' White Album sold, so there was nothing on it. So, and it's true.
Yeah. But they also had a little bit of company behind them pushing the White Album as the White Album.
Yeah, Spinal Tap. They had a rough go.
Pastel black. That black is so black. I can see myself, my soul reflecting in it.
I would have loved to have been on set while this stuff was going, and I would love to see all the takes because I'm convinced most of this movie's improv. So I would love to see it.
I have the DVD with all the specials on it. There's like 4 or 5 hours or more specials of just extra stuff that I tried to watch one time, and it might even be longer than that. Because I tried to watch it one time and it was so long, I had to go to bed.
Dang.
I'm tired. I want to, but all of it is the exact same. It's all just so damn funny. And to have everybody on their toes to be able to pull this off the way they did, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Is.
And funny. They play the rock stars, like you said, straight up. And they're just ridiculous. They are absolutely what the 80s rockers were back in the 80s. And it's funny because I've seen a couple other documentaries in that same time period.
Right.
Like I had said earlier, they're the exact same thing. They're literally the exact same thing. And the guys take themselves so seriously. It's like, you guys, you realize you look like Spinal Tap, right? Anybody ever tell them that you look kind of like Spinal Tap when you do this kind of stuff?
Yeah, and when you see that, it's like that. Again, it is a real movie. Yeah. It feels like a real documentary. And here's the beauty of it. It's not that they just made a fake band. They are a real band with real songs and real albums. So that's what's great.
Because they didn't do the song. They didn't do just snippets of a song. Like they didn't just write the snippets of a song. They wrote entire songs, and then they filmed entire videos of those songs. Because I remember MTV, I think, used to play like those entire videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the movie, you only see a snippet of the
Yeah.
Flower People song. MTV used to play that whole song, that whole
Yeah.
video. And then there was another one. Was it Sex Farm? Sex Farm Woman?
Jeez.
That's got a video, and that is like a typical 80s
Oh my God.
freaking video. I mean, this
That's great.
just so goddamn funny. And I was watching that the other night thinking of what you said. Like they basically became a real band.
They
They
did.
they basically were like, oh, why don't we just put out the album?
Well,
They put out the actual soundtrack, and
yeah,
then years later they put out Break Like the Wind. And they're all on the album cover like Man of War with
yeah.
sweaty spray on them, and they're all flexing their muscles. And I'm laughing the first time I saw that. I was like, oh my god, I didn't hear a song off of that yet. I saw Break Like the Wind, Spinal Tap. I bought it. I still have it. It's, oh my god, if you're not listening to the words, you just think it's 80s rock.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when you start listening to the lyrics, it I can't even tell you. Folks, buy Break Like the Wind. If you have Spinal Tap, the soundtrack, go buy Break Like the Wind. And I thought there's a third album out there.
Never mind me.
Don't remember it. I haven't looked in my computer, and I haven't looked over to see if I still have it. But my God, they're just so damn funny.
They are. They are. One of the things that got me is how Rob was able to get so many people involved. I mean, I ran across Howard Hessman in here, Dr.
Yeah.
Johnny Fever.
I'm trying to think, was that a real rock star that he was walking?
I'm not sure. I didn't look, but the other one, since I saw Dr. Johnny Fever, who was that Air Force officer? Was that Herb Tarlick?
That was Herb Tarlick.
Oh, see, we got a WKRP
not
reunion.
Herb Tarlick. Not
it was
Herb Tarlick.
No, you're right. It's the same guy I keep mistaking for Herb Tarlick every time we see him in a movie.
Because I did the exact same thing.
Yes.
That guy was on Fernwood Tonight. He was the co-host on Fernwood Tonight, which was an old pretend talk show back in the same time period. And he was also I'm trying to think of
three albums. We have
there's 3 albums. Okay.
We have this, then Break Like the Wind, and Back from the Dead.
Back from the Dead. Okay. I think I have Back from the Dead, which is going to be just as funny. Jesus, these guys are great. Let me see if I can get his name, because I know.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that,
but he was on Fernwood Tonight, which I loved to death. It was just freaking great.
Yeah, and last time this actor showed up, I did the same thing. I thought it was Herb Tarlick, and it wasn't, because he looks very similar.
That guy was in a couple of their other mockumentaries. He was in the one with the dogs. He's in the other one.
Oh, Best of Show.
Yeah, the one where they're the folk singers.
I have not. Oh, oh God. Oh man, you're killing me because I knew what it was right now.
Yeah,
I've seen them.
Yeah, I've seen all of them. I can't remember all their names because they're so goddamn funny.
Yeah, they're good comedy movies. So while you're looking that up, again, real documentary, kind of a fake band, but they went ahead and made themselves a real band and did it. And when I worked on a web series, and we decided to do, my character was a musician, and we had to have a scene where he did a song. Right. We wrote the song, we performed the song, and then we said, screw it, let's do like Spinal Tap. And we made an album. So
why not?
Trust me, folks, it's not nearly as good as Spinal Tap. but but it really you really become that character if you're playing somebody in a band and you actually go ahead and do the damn album and everything. It's pretty wild. So I found that pretty cool. But I ended up watching last night on Netflix a music documentary on Wham, Andrew Wrigley, George Michael.
I haven't seen that. Is that good?
It's an excellent documentary. I highly recommend it. I watched one on George Michael on Paramount. They have Behind the Music is Back, and there's a whole updated on George, and it's he's got kind of a tragic story.
Yeah.
But this is all told through Andrew Wrigley's mom saved so many scrap books of everything. So they had so much video, so much pictures, so much in that 4 years they were together, that it's just really, really cool. And it's a lot of it is told through radio interviews and just other stuff that they have done, and it's all
Yeah.
pieced together. It's a really good documentary. I highly
Okay, I
recommend
gotta
it.
watch
So
that.
for fans of music documentaries, it's a good one.
And fans of the time, like that's our time.
Yeah,
That's when I was in high school. I mean, I was not a huge Wham fan, but
I'm not either, but I
you
appreciate them a
couldn't
lot more after I know their story.
you couldn't not hear them on the radio. They were
Oh no,
constantly being played on the radio.
yeah,
And like you said, that the mother had saved all the videos and stuff.
yeah.
I remember reading about George Michael in Boy George's biography. I
Ah,
read
I need to
his
read that.
biography, and is it biography is the one you write yourself, and
Autobiography.
autobiography is the one other people write, or is it the
No,
other way
other way
around?
around. Auto is
Okay,
yourself.
his
Yeah.
autobiography, because he wrote this himself, and he didn't pull any punches with
Hmm.
what the crap that he went through and everything that happened in the band. But he mentions George Michael for about a chapter or so,
Hmm.
and he was just like, that poor. This is before George Michael came out of the closet. He's like, that poor guy's tearing himself apart.
He was.
He needs to come out of the closet. He goes, every gay guy knows he's gay.
His
Every
family
gay
was
person
not
looked at him and
supportive at
knew,
all.
but he
Yeah.
just wasn't ready to come out and let the world know. And he's like, he even said it's gonna destroy him.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that's gonna kill the guy in the long run.
It damn
Or
near did.
it's not good for him. He didn't say it's gonna
No, it
kill him,
wasn't. Yeah. Yeah.
but soul crushing kind of thing. He's just basically saying this. Who does he think he's fooling, man?
Yeah.
He didn't understand. Boy George, who'd always been very open about his sexuality, couldn't understand how a homosexual wouldn't just be themselves,
Yeah.
out
Well.
there. And this, I'm not condoning or not condoning or saying,
Hmm.
one person's way is the right way to do it. It's your own business. But it was just very odd to see the difference, like how
Yeah.
one man handled it and
Oh yeah. Well,
another
and
man.
you'll see this in the Wham documentary. And I didn't mean to get a
Yeah,
sidetrack, but you could
right,
see right away that Andrew's family supported him and George didn't, because
right.
anything that George had to do with music, he was forbidden from playing. He was forbidden
Gosh.
from all of that. So he'd go over to Andrew's house and they would do all of this. So
Oh
he had to
crap.
hide even the damn music.
Serious.
And
That ain't good for anybody.
and for somebody with a voice and talent of his, it was
Yeah,
just a shame, because
yeah.
was a phenomenal singer. So
That's crazy. That's bad. But that's
yeah,
good on documentary level, like you said. That's
yeah,
very cool.
it's a
Um,
cool one. So yeah, we here at Old Ass Movie recommend music documentaries. They're a good way to pass the time.
and what was the crap? We were talking about her the other day. The Joan Jett
Yeah, Joan Jett,
documentary,
Bad
uh,
Reputation. Yeah,
Bad Reputation. That's a really good one too.
it
I highly,
absolutely is.
if you like Joan Jett, even if you don't, just it's a good.
Well, that's just it. What I do is I go through and I watch a lot of them. I've watched a lot of the redone or updated behind the musics on Paramount
Right,
of
right.
artists that I don't even pay attention to or never listen
Yeah,
to, because it's fascinating. I'm not a huge hip hop guy, but I've been watching hip hop documentaries, and
yeah.
it's cool to
Uh,
cool. It's cool to see, because these are real people and they're artists. And
and you
as
see what
you
they
and I
went
are
through.
artists as well,
Yeah,
you can relate in some ways. So
yeah,
it's
yeah. Because you see what they went through at the time, especially, and you're like, "Wow, man, I didn't know any of that crap
yeah,
was going on."
yeah,
Because I'm in
respect.
my own little world in Detroit. They're in South Side Chicago or New York, and you're just
One
like, "Wow,
of
that's as close as they are together, the same. They're also very different worlds."
Well, I'm going to go off on a rant here, not a rant, but a little tangent.
It's what we do. It's what
Um, since you mentioned Detroit, there's a great documentary I watched. It's called A Band Called Death, and it's three brothers grew up in Detroit. Their mom
uh,
took their IRS check and bought them all instruments, and they made a metal band. It's these three
nice,
black guys playing
nice,
metal,
nice.
and because their influences are Zeppelin, Hendrix, all of
Oh
that,
yeah, yeah,
and they
nice.
have some good stuff. So
Yeah.
that's a cool band to take a look at if you ever see it. A band called Death.
Well, it's like Living Color back in the '80s. I think they only
Yes,
came out with one album, but man,
yes,
they rocked the shit out of it.
they do. They do.
You know? It's like, God damn, those guys are good.
Yeah,
I think Fish is that who they're called? Fish was a pretty good band if I remember. I want
yeah.
to
I'm
say
not.
it.
I'm not
Fish or
familiar.
Black
There is a
Flag.
band
I'm
called
sorry,
Death. Yeah.
I'm going blank. I think Fish is more like
I'm not
Not remember
sure.
what you call
Grateful Dead, like?
Grateful Dead. I think they're more like Grateful Dead,
Yeah, I
but
think so. They have a huge
might have been
following.
might be Black Flag is the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, Henry
But
Rollins.
yeah, I think didn't he have a couple of black guys in the band that most people back in the day were like, "What the
I don't
hell? Where
know.
did these guys
I
come
don't
from?"
know. I
But
don't know.
they rip their shit. They shred the hell out of a guitar, man.
Yeah,
These guys. But yeah, this documentaries are great. I love
they are.
documentaries. I love documentaries on anything. If there's a documentary on how a bird will eat a fucking mosquito, I will watch it because I'll
Well,
find
I'm
it fascinating.
as long as it's well done, and
Yeah,
we went a long circle to say I put this up with all rock documentaries
yeah.
because or music documentaries because it just so happens you could say, well, the
Because
band's not real. Yeah, they are,
yeah,
but they're
well,
not. So it's
they're they're not real, but the situations are.
that's what's yeah. Yeah. So it takes a lot of stuff,
The
like you mentioned, the
arguments
Hello
are real.
Cleveland moment.
They all had the good. They all bands always have the bitchy girlfriend of the lead singer who
Okay,
almost
let's talk about her
or
real
does
quick.
destroy the band.
Was that Yoko Ono?
That was, I think so. I think
I
it's the
think
Yoko
so.
character because I just
That was
started laughing.
Yoko Ono. I was like, oh my God, here we go.
Well, she was prettier than Yoko. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and
Totally.
I wish they would have had her sing. That would have just been the icing on the cake.
And it'd be this. Stop! Stop!
Yeah, I felt that was a nod at the Beatles and Yoko Ono and the stories of Yoko getting between. And
Yeah,
yeah, so
but
that's a
every
whole
band
nother.
has that. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course they do.
even the bands that I used to hang out with, you'd always see one of the girlfriends would be in there, and you'd be like, "What the? Why are you even getting involved
Yeah,
in
it's like
that?"
the manager said, who are you?
Yeah, I'm sitting off at the end just having a BS conversation with all the guys in the band, and then one of the girlfriends would come in and just start wedging in. It's like, seriously, what are you? Why are you even getting involved in this? You
Yeah,
know, back
yeah,
off.
yeah,
This is why no one likes you.
yeah. So, so
Oh, good old days.
this mockumentary
Documentary.
follows the
Rocky,
fictitious,
Rocky.
the real band Spinal Tap in a fictitious setting and a
Yeah,
fictitious backstory, um, which is cool. It shows their ups and downs and how they kind of
yeah.
come full circle and the trials
Funny.
and tribulations. It hits the beats like every damn band. I bet you any band can watch this and say, "Oh my God, this is
Yeah,
us."
any rockumentary or any most rockers will say yes. That's hit way too close to home because I've seen a lot of people being interviewed and they bring this up or somebody brings it up and they're like, yeah, that's the Cleveland moment. Everybody has one.
Yeah.
Everybody's been there. But what's funny, have you ever seen the Led Zeppelin song Remains the Same?
No, I have not.
It's another rockumentary. But the guy, their manager, used to walk around with a club, the cricket.
So that's why the guy had a cricket bat.
That's why the guy had the cricket bat. When I saw that the first time, I was dying.
Oh
I
shit!
was
So
like,
yeah,
shit, that's hysterical. The
well, it's
only thing he
obvious
didn't,
they
I mean, they
studied.
showed him messing up the room, that was so damn funny because that's what the guy does in one of the scenes in the other movie. But that's another one I recommend. The Led Zeppelin song remains.
Definitely, definitely. So
I think that's what it's
without
called.
giving,
I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I
yeah,
watched.
without giving too much away, I will say I really enjoy this movie. With
Yeah,
the it's I've seen it a ton,
yeah,
and
yeah.
when I saw it as a teenager, I guess my views change a lot. I still really like this movie. I don't like it as much as I used to. I guess
Uh,
because my sense of humor changed a little bit, or maybe I've seen it so many times. But
mhm.
I really don't have anything horrible to say about it. It's a good, solid documentary. It's funny. It hits the
Yeah.
marks. It's enjoyable.
And,
It's a must watch.
and I think
So
it holds up so well because it is so close to being a regular documentary.
I think so.
They like you said, they played it straight. Had they, I think, been playing for laughs, had they been looking at the
It
camera
wouldn't
and
have
giving
worked.
it a wink, like, haha, wasn't that funny? It wouldn't have worked. It
Your
would
audience is
not have
smarter
worked
than
on any
that.
level. Walking around with a camera, like, and trying to follow the guys around, that worked perfectly. That was a documentary. That gave
Yep.
it the feel, and that's the way it stayed, and that's cool.
It's
Yeah.
cool. They did all the old stuff like the Flower
Yeah.
People and all the trial, how the band changed throughout the years. It was really cool.
We had 56 people in this band, or 156 people in this band. I won't miss them any more than any one of them. And most of those were drummers.
Yeah, I will talk about that real quick. They have a uncanny problem with drummers constantly dying, and they even have an interview with their drummer.
Yeah.
In the
Aren't you
tub, and they're
scared?
like, aren't you afraid of this or whatever? It's like, what the odds? The odds are, yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
of
odds
course,
are
he
in my favor. Then he simultaneously combusts on
did you
stage.
see the name of their last drummer?
No, I didn't. What was it?
Okay, he had black curly hair, and his name was Joe Besser.
No crap.
No crap.
That's
I
funny.
said, are you kidding me?
That's funny.
Nice.
That's
Well done.
funny.
Well played. And we're going to leave it at that.
played,
You
David.
all can figure it out
Yeah.
if you don't get the reference.
Let you look into it.
Yeah. So that was a cool nod. So I definitely give this a watch, Dave.
Yes. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. It's funny. If you like humor, it's worth it. If you like but you have to watch it because some stuff is going on that you have to.
There's a lot going on. A lot. It takes a few watchings, I think.
And if you know a lot about Hollywood, or actors and actresses, just look for all the cameos. It's dumbfounding how many people are in this. Like
dude,
Dana
I know.
Carvey, I thought that, like, looking
had
at
no
him,
idea.
like, that looks like Dana Carvey, but no, he's can't possibly be. He doesn't look quite right, but he's so freaking young. I don't look like I did when I was 18 or however how old he was.
I was in high school when this came out. I'm not going to talk about how we look different now.
Yeah, no shit. I used to have hair. I used to have a lot more hair. But then again, I shaved my head, so what the hell? That's what
There
I
you
blame it
go.
on.
So there you have it, folks. This is Spinal Tap. OAMR says take a watch and make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, share, scribe away, and check us out next week with something else along the musical lines or space or who knows where we go next. To infinity and beyond. No, we're not doing Toy Story. Not yet, at least. Anyway, catch you next week, folks.
Bye.